So I saw Alien Covenant last night, and I also made the huge mistake of seeing the movie alone and then having to walk home in the dark. And I was like, this is how it ends. This is how it ends. In downtown Oakland, just like xenomorphs everywhere. So I don't know if I enjoyed the film, but it certainly did a good job of scaring the bejesus out of me.
Cool.
So this is the second Alien prequel. So it's a follow-up to Prometheus, which came out, I think, like 5 years ago. Ridley Scott directed again. Michael Fassbender is back, which makes me very happy, as we were discussing. Bless the casting agent who's like, let's bring him into this franchise, and bless the costume designer who's like, let's put him in a skin-tight suit. Yeah, so Catherine Watterson, who is Sam Watterson from Law & Order's daughter, who you may remember from Fantastic Beasts, plays Daniels, and she's sort of our Ripley for this one. So Sigourney Weaver is unfortunately not in it. I love Sigourney Weaver to bits, but we still have a strong female lead, which is always very exciting to see, and it's one of the things I love about the Alien movies. Billy Crudup, Damian Beecher, and Danny McBride are also in it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an Alien film. And this isn't really a spoiler, but you can expect a lot of blood and vomit and viscera and xenomorphs. So if you aren't into that stuff, definitely don't go see this movie. I actually enjoyed this one more than Prometheus, which is strange because I felt like it was clearer. It also did less to sort of drop you into it, which means you kind of have to have seen Prometheus to understand a lot of it. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to have seen Alien, but I think it helps a lot knowing where everything is going and why this is all so disturbing. And I don't normally like scary pop-out horror blood guts things, which is known amongst my friends and family. So they're all like, why are you going to see this? I was like, oh, but it's Alien.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of that going in. I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And I was sitting there and I just like had my hands in my ears half the time when the loud, scary things were happening. And because I see so many movies, I generally know when something bad is about to happen. So I could sort of just crunch down and see it already. And halfway through, I was like, why did I do this? They were all right. Why did I choose to see this movie? So my favorite parts are super spoilery, so I'm not going to go into them.
Okay.
And it's not a perfect film. You know, it borrows from a ton from the previous Alien films. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and there were a couple plot points that I was like, oh, this is from something I saw recently or earlier this year. And I was like, well, wait. Those movies stole from the original Alien, so I guess it's really just more Alien.
Yep.
If you are normally kind of a scaredy cat like I am, I'll fully cop to it. Like, this might not be the film for you. If you haven't seen Prometheus, I highly recommend seeing that first and just knowing that it gets more clear later on. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And, you know, we're about to go into a couple of long weekends and holidays, so I think it's definitely worth a visit. I had 3.6.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's amazing. All right, there you go. What's it called again? I know it's an Alien prequel.
Yes, Alien Covenant. So it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, at what point are we going to start? Like, what's this naming scheme? What do we number them? You know, it's so whatever. But Alien Covenant, it's definitely an Alien film. Like, Prometheus didn't have the Alien title, which was like a nerdy, like, oh, what's going on? Is this an Alien film? Uh-huh. And now they're just like, no, it's an Alien. It's
you know what? The first one would have made more money if they called it Alien the Prometheus or whatever.
Right.
like
Prometheus,
that.
like an Alien prequel or something like that. And I think they were trying to do like the whole like internet buzz thing. Like, is it, isn't it? Go see it anyway.
Yeah, and it didn't work, clearly, because now they're using the name again. There you go. Go see it this weekend. And we're talking about King Arthur again. What is this, like the 8th
Right.
one?
I know, exactly. The most retold story ever.
Yeah.
You know, it's a legend. This is not a legendary retelling. So it's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. And as per usual, I have to ask, why? It's Guy Ritchie, and it's this super bloated retelling of the Arthurian legend, starring Charlie Hunnam, Jude Law, Jaimin Hansu, and Aidan Gillen, who was Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. So I was like, yay.
That's a cool cast, at least.
It's a cool cast, except for it's like, let's take one of the most retold stories ever, and then let's retell it. And because we are bankrupt for ideas, he tried to put like some sort of spin on it, but there's really only so much you can do with the story of King Arthur.
Yeah.
So the acting was about as wooden as a round table. From IKEA, so cheap round table. The runtime went about 30 minutes too long. Guy Ritchie's early work I was like a fan of. He definitely has a distinct style, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, both strong films. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you have to like overly cram this style into every single thing you do. It means you haven't evolved at all in my book. So I don't know if anyone remembers the Sherlock Holmes films with Robert Downey Jr. and actually Jude Law as well. And they were that, you know, there was that cool like slow motion, like Sherlock Holmes is boxing and we're going to show the fight breakdown, but he's going to walk you through it, and that was the explanation for it. Mm-hmm. This movie is sword fighting like that for like 30 minutes, which is like, I love action movies, but this is boring and slow, and it also means the plot doesn't advance for 30 minutes. And you're just sitting there, and guess what? You know how it ends. You know how it ends. He's gonna pull the sword out. He's gonna become the king. He's gonna get betrayed later. They conveniently didn't set any of that up because I think they knew this was not going to be a franchise. I feel like in their hearts they knew it was gonna fail, so they didn't set up the Guinevere and Lancelot stuff. I don't even think Lancelot was in it, but everyone was so bleh and background that I didn't, you didn't pay attention to who the other knights were.
Yeah.
It was such a waste of time. And I don't know why I saw it, honestly, because I knew it was going to be bad, but I was like, well, maybe it'll be, nope. And I should have just walked out, but it's one of those things where I was like, well, now I just have to see how this ends. So please save your time, save your money. This wasn't even a good one, but go watch the Clive Owen one from 2003 or something like that.
Okay. Wait, was that with
Keira Knightley? Yeah,
yes.
which is the weirdest casting choice there, except for I would say that was the weirdest casting choice, but now I should have looked up the actress's name, but there's this weird, I'm just going to spoil it. Spoilers. Guinevere is a magician, or she's a mage in this.
Okay.
And normally the mage is Merlin in the Arthurian legends. So I'm we've gone too far. They've gone too far. So I just go see the other one. Why not? Or go see Sword in the Stone, the animated
I love that one.
Go see any other
King Arthur.
Any other King Arthur.
But this one.
This one.
So what are you giving it?
I'm giving it 1.3, and I feel like that's being generous.
Wow.
Ouch.